What is good, everybody? I'm Elijah Goring, and I'm back from doing film reviews. And this is my first time using this on Zoom on my laptop. I thought it was cool from doing like a review, my movie reviews on Zoom. But this is a great idea in my opinion. Today we're going to talk about my favorite films of all time. Oh man, Mousehunt. And also, there's a background behind me with Nathan Lane and Lee Evans from the film, and I love this background. This background is very, very low key and vulnerable, and vulnerable. Yeah, that's the right word.
Mousehunt.
We need a cat. I'm talking one mean pussy. Yeah.
This movie is about Ernie and Schmuntz. Ernie and Lars Schmuntz, played by Nathan Lane and Lee Evans. They're funny in this movie, as I mentioned. And it's about after their father died, Ernie is the chef with his restaurant, and he lost his restaurant from a cockroach incident. And also, Lars, his wife, left him. And later in the movie, they reunited, and they went to this old house that their father used to live. And there's one tiny little problem. The mouse is the problem. And they try to get rid of it. In fact, they're trying to get rid of it. But it's harder for them to deal with. And basically, they tried everything. They tried getting cats. They tried getting the exterminator, and basically they try to kill it. And I think of that little mouse is like an innocent person, and it feels like that in the rat's point of view. And I think what I think about that little rat is like he's thinking, oh, they want to play games, huh? They want to come into my house, destroy my turf. All right. You know what? Two can play that game, bro. Two can play this game. That's the rats thinking. That's the mice thinking about. And I think the mice is like smarter than those two men. two goofy men, in my case. Well, I saw this movie on HBO Family in June 2006. And second time when I watched this movie, it was in September 2009 on Pix 11. And last year, I rewatched this movie, which is my third time. And I haven't watched this movie in a long time. Well, also last year, I watched The Birdcage, as I mentioned. Excuse me. And this movie was very, very rare. This film and the Birdcage also are two rare movies. But anyway, I thought the movie was really, really good and very, very rare. I loved it to start to finish. It was hilarious in my opinion, and that movie was like one of the best comedies in my lifetime. And sorry, I had a little cold there. Getting back to my conversation, this movie is my favorite films growing up, and also is personally is my favorite movie now, and my favorite comedies now, in fact. And I really, really love this movie because it's Nathan Lane and Lee Evans on-screen chemistry. They're funny together. Well, you know Nathan Lane from The Birdcage, the producers, The Lion King, Stuart Little, and Teacher's Pet. And also Lee Evans from The Medallion with Jackie Chan. Well, I saw that movie years ago with my mother. But anyway, getting back to Mousehunt. Mousehunt, for me, I love this movie to start to finish because it's a comedy about two men dealing with a rat, and I think the rat is very smart than men. Two men, I mean, two men, and when the concept was very rare, but in my opinion, the concept was very very massive. It's like a huge deal, and this movie was open. This film was open number two in the box office, and that was a disappointing feeling. And I know this movie is very underrated, and in my opinion, I loved it. I loved it. It was funny. It was hilarious. It was rare. It was like a hidden gem. It was a really fun film. It was a really it was a must see movie for families and for children. And basically, it's from DreamWorks, the studio that brought you Shrek series, um, Kung Fu Panda, and Shark Tale. And I thought of Nathan Lane and Lee Evans characters. They were funny to me. They were very very hilarious together in this film, and I wish they did more movies together. And as a reunion, they did the producers on Broadway together in London back in 2004 and 2005. Um, I thought Mouse Hunt was very very rare, but I think this movie was very rare for people that they haven't talked about this movie in a long time. And this movie came out 23 years ago, and also it came out the same day as Titanic on December 19th, 1997. And I feel like Titanic was the number one movie for people. And this film could have been number one in the box office. It could have been better. It could have been better in the box office, but this movie was very, very better now for this pandemic. And it's a great movie for the pandemic because it's funny, it's rare, it's very hilarious. Nathan Lane and Lee Evans are great together in this film. And I ain't gonna lie, I really love Nathan Lane and Lee Evans in this film. And and I found this movie a low key film, and I give this movie 5 stars and two very very enthusiastic thumbs up. And it's a comedy duo. It's like a slapstick comedy and also a dark comedy in a way that this concept was trying to figure out how to deal with. I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud of this movie in my opinion, and I give 5 out of 5 since I love this movie because it's hilarious in my opinion. And this movie is my childhood growing up, and I'm lucky that I got involved with this film growing up, and and it's my favorite movies now growing up, and my favorite movies for generations. And matter of fact, this movie was my favorite movie as of today. And some people didn't talk about this movie like since a year ago. They talk about other films in the classic era, and this movie was a classic, and so as The Birdcage. And speaking of last year, I saw The Birdcage and this movie combined, and I thought a Mouse Hunt was a very very funny movie, and I'm glad that I love this movie. And this movie was very very rare and very very hilarious, and a must see movie for families and for children, for all ages. And during this pandemic, I watched this movie again, and I'm glad that I watched this movie again because I haven't watched this movie in like for like decades or something like that. And this movie is one of the best movies one of the best movies I ever saw. And this movie is my favorite comedy films of all time. And I really love this movie a lot to me. And to me, this movie was extremely rare. And if you're home, if you have nothing to watch on television, just go watch Mouse Hunt. It's on DVD and Blu-ray, and also on Amazon Prime. and I'm very glad that this movie was on Amazon Prime. And this movie was a fun movie, and it's funny and it's hilarious at the same time, especially in this pandemic. So whenever you get a chance, go watch. Whenever you get a chance, bro, please go watch Mousehunt. You will love this movie to start to finish. It will laugh your ass off. Period. So, well, it's good to be back on my film review. So I have to get going now. So we'll see you next time. Stay safe and stay warm. Goodbye.